Hey YouTubers, this is Killick86, aka Raymond. First off, I'd like to say Happy New Year to everybody. Today is January 1st, 2017, which is a big deal for everybody. But the one thing I like to talk about, as you guys could tell by the title, is movies. Now, I've seen a lot of good movies back in 2000s and back in 2016, even though it just started today. But I've compiled some of the list of the best and worst of the 2016 movies that I've seen. But let's go through my number one best 2016 film of all time. And of course, I think you guys know what that is. The number one 2016 film of all time would be Captain America: Civil War. Now, the reason why Captain America: Civil War was by far my number one best movie from 2016 is, come on guys, we have the Avengers. Well, except for Thor and Hulk, we've seen the Avengers fighting against each other, and also two characters that we've actually seen on the big screen. We've seen the Black Panther, which I think that was the best outfit that they've ever created for him, and also they depicted how his dad died, but they did it differently. If you guys remember the Fantastic Four cartoon back in the 90s, that when the Fantastic Four met the Black Panther, they talked about how T'Challa lost his father. There was a man named Ulysses Claw who killed his father, and because where they live in Wakanda, there was a big mountain that was made up of vibranium. And he wanted it, but his dad didn't want to give it to him. So he killed him. But he was a kid when he saw his father die. So when he was gone, and when he fled actually, he decided to prepare himself for the arrival when he does come back. So he grew up into a young man. He was able to train himself and learn a lot, and became the Black Panther as he is. As you guys know, Ulysses Claw actually made his appearance in Avengers: Age of Ultron, where Ultron actually wanted all of the vibranium that was in that ship, and he was able to I actually transferred all through from his brain, with the help of the internet, about $1 billion to his accounts. As you guys know, Ulysses Claw was played by Andy Serkis, who is best known for playing Gollum. Also, he's playing Caesar in the Planet of the Apes movies, from The Rise and The Dawn, and now the upcoming movie War of the Planet of the Apes. And also, we've seen Spider-Man, a new and improved Spider-Man, which is played by Tom Holland, and we're about to see him again this year in July in Spider-Man: Homecoming, where he faces the Vulture, played by Michael Keaton. Now, let's talk about the worst films I've seen in 2016. Now, to be fair with you, I have never talked about a bad movie. I mean, I've seen a lot of films, and I've never talked down to a film a lot. So I don't see how I could say I've seen the worst. So after seeing all these films that I've seen, the worst film that, in my opinion, actually, for my number one worst film that I've seen, actually, there's two. They're tied for. They're both tied for number one as the worst film I've seen in 2016. One would be Ghostbusters. Now, I know you guys are thinking, why would you put down a movie that was a classic back then? That's what I'm saying. It was a classic back then because it had Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Harold Ramis, and also Rick Moranis, which were funny characters. And also we had Sigourney Weaver in there too. But despite that, they decided to make it all women. I'm not being sexist here. It's just that seeing the women do that, it was funny. They had some funny parts, and also spoiler alert on that point that they had actually had the original Ghostbusters cameos. We've seen those three. We've seen those two, and also the other guy who was a new one. As for Harold Ramis, well, he passed away in 2014 due to cancer. And I don't know. It's just that the way the ghost looked, as you guys know, technology has evolved very easily. I felt like those ghosts weren't even real. It felt like it was watching. It's like we were watching like a Scooby Doo cartoon. Seeing them, they look like they were from a cartoon. But if you remember the ghosts back in the original Ghostbusters, they looked scary and they looked really, really good. But it's just the computer animations that they had. It didn't make them feel. It didn't make it feel real. It didn't. So, but that's my opinion. I thought the movie was good, but I think that the computer animation for the ghosts were a little off. I would say it would be the worst film ever, but not that. It was good and bad at the same time. But I think the worst film that I thought, actually, you know what? In my opinion, the worst film ever from 2016, besides Ghostbusters, which was good and bad, the worst film was Independence Day Resurgence. And the reason why is because of one reason: Will Smith. Now, knowing that Will Smith didn't want to be in this film, I had my opinion on that. It's like, why didn't he want to be in this film? I actually read that the only reason that he wanted to do that because he didn't like to be in sequels. But despite that, he was on Bad Boys 2, and I've heard that they're actually making a Bad Boys 3. It's either coming out this year or next year. I'm not sure. But he didn't want to be in this film. The real reason why the film that he was trying to do before, he felt comfortable doing Suicide Squad. The reason why Independence Day wasn't good is just they fought a giant alien. And then, no. If you remember the original, guys, seeing alien fights, ships, jets fighting each other, and we actually saw an alien, which wasn't a giant one. It was just like the size of from the floor to the roof. And as you guys know, that movie won an Oscar for Best Visual Effects back in 1996. I think that's when the film came out. But this was 20 years ago. It took 20 years to make a sequel. Usually sequels come out like 2 years when the movie comes out, not 20 years. But you know what? That's my opinion. If you guys think differently, put it in the comments below what you feel about it. But back to the best films. As you guys know, Marvel. Like I said in the beginning of 2016, that this was a battle between Marvel versus DC. And I was right. But this was a tie between DC and Marvel. Now, as you guys, like I said before, on number one, that the best film in my opinion was a Marvel film, Captain America: Civil War. That was my number one best film in 2016. Now, number two, to take the number two spot, is actually a tie between Marvel and DC, and I'm sure you guys are wondering what that was. My number two favorite Marvel film was Deadpool. Now, seeing Ryan Reynolds play Deadpool in X-Men Origins Wolverine, that was a step forward to what Ryan Reynolds wanted to be. He was a character which I read that was his favorite Marvel superhero of all time, Marvel character. And when he wanted to make a movie about it, I said, really? They're actually going to make a movie about this? And then seeing all the trailers, seeing all the sexist jokes that they've had and all the bad stuff in the film. Even when they had the trailer of him saying, "Hello, I'm Deadpool. I let you know this movie's not for kids, so I advise you parents not to bring your kids to see this film." And when I saw that movie for the first time with my brothers, there was little kids everywhere. They were talking about, they had and spoiler alert on this point, this guy making love to a girl, and we've seen all that. They were doing doing jokes about sex positions and a lot of other stuff, and we see Deadpool cut his arm off, and they were in a strip club, and there was kids in the movie theater. And I'm sure the parents like, kids, cover your eyes, please, cover your eyes. I was like, wow. In the trailer, I always look at my brother and said, you know what? They said that this is not for kids, and this is a rated R film. This is a very, very different Marvel superhero here. Well, he's a villain, kind of, but which I thought was quite crazy. But you know what? That movie became the first Marvel film to beat Iron Man, and also what other one was it? Captain America. I think it was Captain America's The Winter Soldier, for opening for 3 days. It made over $100 million in the box office in 3 days, and that was pretty good. And that actually beat the record, which was that was actually perfect. But that that was funny. I thought Deadpool was a great film. As for part two, I've heard that the guy who directed the first one actually backed out because I guess Ryan Reynolds. With Ryan Reynolds thinking about different things, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, enough of that. Now, if you're wondering what part two of the number two spot is actually a DC film, like I said, it was a tie between Marvel and DC. Now, the number two best DC film, in my opinion, was Batman vs Superman. Now, why did Rotten Tomato give it a bad rating? I mean, here's the thing, guys. Back in 1996, they came out with on Kids WB. I'm sure you guys remember that on Channel 13, Kids WB. They came out with Batman Superman Adventures. And as a kid, I was like, wow, I hope they make a movie about this. And it will be cool because we've seen Batman, we've seen Superman in films, and it will be cool to see a team up between them. And when we saw the movie I Am Legend, I forgot, I don't know what part, he was actually hunting a lion, or maybe they were driving around. You can actually see a movie poster of the Batman Superman movie coming out in 2012, and it didn't come out that year. But when I saw that those two were going to be in a movie together, I thought that was a dream come true for me. Seeing two of DC's greatest superheroes teaming up. And then when I find out they're fighting each other, I said, hey, even better. But it got a 30% on Rotten Tomatoes. I did not understand that. I really didn't. And also, I had some second thoughts about... I had some thoughts about Ben Affleck being Batman. I was like, why didn't they ask Christian Bale? I looked up, said the reason why Christian Bale didn't want to do Batman versus Superman was because they didn't ask him to play Batman. But the director wanted a more mature looking Batman, because when the cartoon movie The Dark Knight Returns came out, which you could Dark Knight Returns Part 2, that's when he fought Superman in that Batman uniform without using the kryptonite before. I think that opened doors for seeing a movie in real life. I didn't care what the ratings were. I wanted to see it. I thought that was the coolest thing ever. And also seeing Wonder Woman, we saw The Flash, Aquaman, Cyborg, and also seeing one of the greatest DC villains of all time, Doomsday, in that film. That was great. I just didn't understand why it got a bad rating. I don't get it. Now, I bet you guys are wondering what's my number two worst film I have ever seen. I haven't seen this film, but I can tell you this: I would never, ever, ever see this film. And that would be Pete's Dragon. Now, I know what you're thinking. Pete's Dragon, a Disney film? I don't know if you guys knew it was a Disney film, but it was. Back in the 1970s, Disney created a movie called Pete's Dragon. It's about a boy who ran away from some mean people, But he wasn't alone. He was accompanied by a cartoon and an animated dragon named Pete. He can be invisible. He can breathe fire as dragons do. That movie was a classic. If you instead of seeing the remake, I would rather see you should see the original, which was pretty great. Also, the movie won. Actually, I think it was nominated or it might have won for best song in a motion picture for Pete's Dragon, "Candle on the Water," which was a very very sad song. But the remake is just the computer animations and how Pete was the dragon. It's just no. I would say no. It's just it's too much. I mean, it's not like the original. I knew they were going to do that. It's just like, why? I've seen The Jungle Book. That one was better. That was a better Disney remake ever. But I think the best remake, which is coming up soon in March, Beauty and the Beast, I think that will be the best. I can't wait to see that one. But I would not see it. I've seen clips of it, but no. I'm not going to see the whole thing. Never. Now, my brother's actually thinking that he might not want to go see the Power Rangers film, which is coming out this year. Hey, me and my brothers, we grew up watching the Power Rangers. And back in 1995, they made Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the movie. And if I remember, I think it was McDonald's, I think. They had, on the Happy Meals, they had the toys, they had all that stuff. It was like, all right. We had the communicators and everything. It was the best ever. But now it's been 21 years, and now they decided to make a new movie of the Power Rangers differently. So I can't wait. We're seeing Bryan Cranston playing Zordon. I actually saw Alpha. I saw the toys when I was in Target. I was curious. Alpha looks way, way different than the Alpha that we've known in the first, second, third, fourth, and fifth, sixth, and seventh series. I've seen all the series. Okay, I'm a geek. Let you know, but after that, it's just I'm looking forward to it. So I would say Pete's Dragon would be my number 2 worst, but all that. Those were only the worst films I've ever seen. But I'm going to tell you there's some movies that were great to watch, that weren't the best. Like I said, The Jungle Book was good. I saw Finding Dory. Finding Dory was great. Suicide Squad was great. They said that the movie wasn't good, but the only people that they loved in that film was Jared Leto, who played the Joker. He played a great Joker, but like I said before, the crown goes to Heath Ledger from the Dark Knight movie. He will always be that Joker that's more crazier than all the other ones. And the other two was Will Smith playing number 2 was Will Smith playing Deadshot, and Margot Ritter, if I said her name right. I'm hoping I said her name right. Give me a sec. I gotta see. It's a good thing to have the internet, man. It really helps a lot. Oh, Margot Robbie. Sorry. She played the one Joker's girl, Harley Quinn. They say that the reason why the movie was so great was because of those 3. Which I agree. Finding Dory, that was a good film too. Star Wars Rogue One, that was great. And oh man. And 10 Cloverfield Lane, that it was a good film, but not what I expected. But John Goodman played a hell of a character, being the bad guy. Let's talk about X-Men Apocalypse first. It was good and it was bad for one reason: Apocalypse. Like on the video that I've shown you before about the comparison between the Apocalypse from the cartoon and to the now, I felt like no. Apocalypse in the cartoon, he was more evil than the one that we've seen here. I mean, there were some mutants that he hated. He only wanted the strongest ones. And the thing was that this apocalypse was nothing compared to what I've seen. I mean, the apocalypse was like kind of like a cybernetic, like more like an android type thing. And he was a shapeshifter. He was able to shapeshift, yes, but he doesn't shapeshift his hands, like doing like long stretch arms, all any of that stuff. But the only thing he did was able to grow in size, which you saw in the film. And Apocalypse he was kind of immortal, but he was hard to defeat. But the way that how they beat him at the end of the film, that was to say, no, that's not Apocalypse. Apocalypse doesn't die like that very easily or disintegrate. No. But what can I say? X-Men Apocalypse was alright. I would give it a 7 out of 10. But the one thing that made it great was seeing a cameo of Wolverine, which was the best. That was a great one. Now, I've seen, Kung Fu Panda 3, that was good, but they made too many sequels, I can tell you that. Assassin's Creed, that was a great movie. I loved it. They actually depicted the game very well, but like I said before, why did they name the guy, the assassin, Aguilar? What about Altair or Ezio, which were the first two ones that we've seen in the films? But no, they decided Aguilar. Nothing against that. I mean, but you know what? That's how it was. But overall, that was a great movie. And last but not least, two, there was The Purge election year. I thought I think this Purge film was a lot better than the second one that came out. We've seen Frank Grillo. As you guys know, Frank Grillo played Crossbones in Captain America Civil War on the first part where Captain America fought him, and also he tried to destroy Captain America by sacrificing himself with a bomb. But he was able to play his character the second time in the Purge election year, where they're trying to protect this lady and try to win the election. But the other person had plans. But we've seen different characters from the movie, that's what makes a film. You don't stay on one character all the time. When you stretch out the story by having all the characters at once, that's a movie. The Purge election year, that was the best. Now, I've heard, and this was a rumor, that this year they're supposed to be making another one, but it might come out in 2018, but I'm not sure. All I can say is that I don't think any Purge movie can top that one. Purge election year. So that one was good. And last, but certainly not least, is Sully. I'm sure you guys have seen Sully. It was a true story that Tom Hanks plays a man who saved everyone from the plane. And he crashed the plane into the Hudson River, New York, back in 2009. He saved all those people in that plane. And that was a miracle right there. Now, Oscar nods, I would have to say that I think Denzel Washington might get nominated for his movie Fences. If you guys haven't seen the trailer, go look at the trailer of Fences, because when you see that trailer, it's like, man, give the guy the Oscar already, because the way that he portrayed the character and how he's talking, I mean, Denzel Washington makes you believe. And I'm hoping Tom Hanks will be nominated for his role in Sully, but I've heard that there was a lot of Oscar buzz in another film which I have never heard of before. It's called La La Land. La La Land. Here it is. Now, La La Land just came out today. I think 2 weeks ago, I believe. I mean, It came out December 9th. Oh, wow. Now, get this, guys. Rotten Tomatoes has given it 93%, so it means it's very good. And Google users, people who use Google, obviously, gave it a 91%. So this movie must be good. So that means Ryan Gosling and also Emma Stone, who both star in this film, they might be nominated for an Oscar. But, man. But you know what, guys? Those movies back in 2016, those were the best. I mean, which animated film would win for best? For the best, is it Finding Dory, Zootopia, Kung Fu Panda 3, Moana? I don't know. Or The Secret Life of Pets. Secret Life of Pets was good, and also there's the Angry Birds movie, which that was funny. It's cool how they made a movie about that. But you know what, guys? Those movies were the best. As for Warcraft, I'm sure you're saying, what about Warcraft? Warcraft was good, but I heard that it didn't do very well either. Like I said before, when there's too many characters you have to think about, and when gamers are hoping to see every single one of the characters that's in the game, you gotta try to make it work. I thought Warcraft was a great film. But like I said, there's too many characters. The story stretched out too long. There's too much dialogue. But the fight scenes were amazing. And also, guys, like I said before, when the MTV Movie Awards come out in 2017, I hope Captain America: Civil War will win for best fight, because you guys got to admit, seeing Captain America, Winter Soldier, and Iron Man fight each other, that was good. Or seeing all Captain America's side and Iron Man's side fighting each other. I think that was the best ever. Give me your opinions about those movies that I've talked about. And if you guys have seen it, tell me if you guys liked it or not. Or do you guys like my choices? Or do you guys disagree with some of the choices that I thought was the best and some that were the worst? Why don't you guys give me that, alright? Well, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more reactions, more gameplay. Drop a like on this video if you enjoyed this. Well, guys, 2017's here. I've heard, like I said before, in 2017 we're getting some more Marvel films. We have some more DC films, and also we're getting some horror legends coming back. We got Jason, we got Freddy. We got a question mark for Halloween. Michael Myers might come back, and we might get another Saw film. We might get Chucky back. And another Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I don't know, but we'll see. Well, guys, thank you for watching. And don't forget, like I always say, stay positive.